Hello, and thank you for joining me today here at Plan to Paint. Today we're going to try to capture a nice snow-capped mountain sunset, sun setting off to the right of the painting here. So the light's going to be coming in from the right side. And we're going to have some yellows and purples from the sky as the sun's going more through the horizon. But first we got to prep our canvas. So I've got some titanium white laid out here that I'm going to add into linseed oil to make our base liquid coat. Then we've got ultramarine blue. I've got an ultramarine blue mixed with a little bit of, a lot of lemon yellow to get this bright green color. And then a burnt sienna, lamp black, alizarin crimson, sap green, yellow ochre, cad yellow, and a cadmium red is our bright red. So let's get this liquid white mixture mixed in. I've just got some refined linseed oil here. It's a Winsor Newton bottle. I don't think the brand matters too much here. Get the actual cap off of this one. It's getting towards the end of the bottle and the cap really wants to stick in there. Alright, let's just drop a little bit of oil there beside it and we'll mix it right in. Hold this up, you can actually see what's kind of going on here. The oil's running away. Gotta catch it. It's almost like playing Pokemon here. Catch them all. You can see I got this huge palette here, palette board, and all it is just a piece of hardboard cut 18 by 24 inches, and then I added a handhold hole here, and then I just used a toned gesso gray to give it a nice neutral background. The hardboard itself is pretty dark. It makes everything look lighter than it really is. But I like to have a lot of space for mixing when I'm doing a painting of this type. We use a lot of mixing with the brush right on the palette, and that drags paint down. And I've tried doing this with smaller palettes, and I don't recommend. You can use a good sized palette that you can hold, or have a nice little table nearby that you can mix your palette on and have more space to work with, because running out of space isn't any fun. You gotta clear space off. Try to avoid more corruption of colors you don't want mixed together. So we've got this real kind of runny, kind of washing out from the lights. I'll have to adjust my lighting a little bit down the road here to avoid this washout, but it's kind of a not quite liquid, but it's still pretty runny in comparison to the other paints on this palette. So I'm gonna pick up some of this and put a nice even coat on our surface and get started painting. Do you like this part of the videos where we actually prepare the surface, or would you rather we start with a pre-prepared surface, pre-prepped surface, to save on time? I mean, these don't take extreme amounts of time to complete, but it is still time out of your day that's lost just watching mix this liquid white. The reason I do it is that for people joining us that haven't done this technique before, know exactly how to start right in rather than having to go look up and find out how to prep their canvas. I'm going to use a 3-inch brush this time. It'll go a little faster. Load up some white on here and just apply a nice even coat. to the entire surface. We want the whole surface to be already wet. And this allows the paints to slide on top of each other and move with much less effort than is required when you're trying to work with a dry canvas, dry surface. And this is just going on an 11 by 14 inch hardboard panel. I think as I've worked more with this technique that I'm going to start moving into a larger canvas size soon, because we build our depth kind of back to front, top to bottom, and the more space you have top to bottom, the more depth you can transmit, represent in your painting, given the size brushes we use. I mean, you can always work smaller so that perspectively you don't change, but then you get different results because the brush types are different. So if you're using these larger brushes, they have a certain stiffness and shape that you don't really find in a lot of the artist brushes that are smaller. So we just go over the entire surface. Looks like I got a little bit in this corner down here I missed. And top to bottom. Just really want it spread out nice, evenly. Across the entire surface. If you leave anything uncovered, it's gonna show up in your painting as a spot where your colors don't want to blend well. And just very lightly back and forth. Barely caressing the canvas. This nice even coat. And you can pick up the pace if you're working. Alright. So I'm going to set that brush aside so we have a nice white brush to go back into later. And for the mountains, well, we're going to start with our sky first. And so sky's got, tend to be blue in certain spots. So we're going to mix up a nice blue value. Bring down a little more titanium white in this. So I want it to be a little bit lighter as we go from so what we're actually going to do, I'm going to start with some yellow over here and move into some crimson, and then pick up this blue as we go further away from the setting sun. So taking a 2-inch brush, pick up a little bit of this yellow, and we're just going to start off to the side. We want this to blend out. I'm going to pick up some bright red. And we're going to add the bright red in here. And we're just going to kind of represent where the sun's actually setting the most at here. And we'll get into more reds in here. And we're going to start picking up this blue. And you're going to see that it's going to bring in some kind of a purple transition in here. And you see right now I'm making little round strokes, but we're going to switch this to a crisscross. And then we're going to load up more of the blue. We're going to start out here with our blue and just bring it we're trying not to let the blue and the yellow touch much, because you'll get more of a green coming across in your sky. And I don't think we're going to have any water in our Yep, I did it. I picked up some yellow here. So we're just going to add some more blue on top. clean the brush off a little bit here on my towel. I'm going to blend this together. I think that's a little too concentrated. Bring this in more. Alrighty, I think I'm not getting quite the glow effect that we would like. So we're going to do that over again. Up some yellow and red. And we're just going to start from this corner and work our way up. There, now we're talking. Isn't that beautiful? And just very lightly back across, soften up those colors, bring it down into the... So you can tell our sun's sitting right bring this out a little bit more. Going to be sitting right off into this side here. So we're going to use our fan brush. We're going to pick up some titanium white here. We're going to bring it down, pick up a little bit of this blue. I'm going to get a decent amount of paint in there. A little bit of liquid white because we want it to be a little bit runnier. We're going to make some cloud shapes. You just kind of swirl it around. Boy, I need a lot more liquid white on there. We're not leaving much paint down. We're just kind of... They say thinner paint, which since I'm using linseed oil, it's not exactly thinner, it's the same viscosity roughly. So it doesn't have quite the same effect as using a paint thinner would. And I do that intentionally to to avoid having to deal with some solvents that they can tend to do some nasty things. So I'm going to tap a little more on here. You can make the clouds whatever shape you want. They're just kind of floating along happily here. Then we want to pick up some this red. We're going to actually add some shadows underneath here. Get some blue and bring it down to this red here. Making a darker purple color. I need to pick up a lot more paint because that's not holding. This one's not going that great. I'm going to take our sky brush, clean off some of the paint. We're going to fluff these. So fluff just the edge. And then just very, very lightly give them a little bit of a Alright, so now we're going to take our palette knife and we're going to mix in our base mountain values. So we're going to pull down a little bit of the burnt sienna, a little bit of crimson, some sap green, a little bit of blue. Blue's pretty strong here. And let's pull some of this over, lighten it up a little bit. So you see what we got here. Pretty neat looking value. And we're gonna take this. And where do we think we want this guy? I think we'll start here. Just, he's got a peak. Come down this way. And just kind of lay them on here. And with a dry brush, I'm gonna reach up here. We're gonna pull these down. Make sure you leave the edge, it's that sharp edge. And we're going to pull. I'm going to go with the lay of the land, which way your mountain is falling here. Pull this down. And we're just going to blend this down towards the bottom. This adds that misty effect. We're going to go back with our palette knife. We're going to pick up some of this liquid white, as well as some titanium white. Just mix this over here, I guess. And our light's coming in from this direction, so we want to pick up a little bit of this sky red. Not a lot, doesn't take a lot. We want this to just read a little bit pink. You can see that there. We're going to mix it up well, and then draw it out. And run your knife across it. Get a nice little roll of paint. You got to decide which ones are facing which faces, and just ever so slightly, no pressure, bring it down. You got a face here, kind of follow the land. Here, come down this way. A little bit here, I think. We're gonna go up here and we're gonna add a little bit here, I think, too. We want this whole face to be facing this way. Now, bring in this blue. A little bit more of this red color here from the mountains itself. And we got kind of a, very much a blue-gray value, hue. And we're going to do the part that's in the shadow. So we've got some shadow here. And just lightly touching here and letting the paint stick off of your knife. Slide right off the knife onto the surface here. Alright, with our base brush, we're going to blend this out down here. It's that easy. We have a mountain. Alright, now we are going to pull down the lamp black into this mountain color. Nice little autumn kind of color going on here. Add a little more crimson into it. And we've got ourselves some tree shapes. I'm just going to pull up on those. These are still off where you can't see them. Got a little bit of a hill going on here. If you take your brush and you just kind of flick up on it, you get like the tops of trees sticking up, breaking up your scenery. And I'm going to add some liquid white to that to make sure it sticks and it's not quite so dark. So I want it to still be off in the distance. We want lighter in the distance. Help build up. There, that's a little better. You gotta think about how this rolls down. What sticks up in front of the mountain. There. Not looking like a whole lot yet. I'm losing some of the red coming off of that light, so we're going to pick up some bright red in here and put in a little bit of highlights in there, just kind of scattered around. A little bit more apparent in this area. Some liquid white to help make that stick. And we've got some Right. Now we're going to start bringing in a little bit of green. Things will get a little bit closer. More black and brown. I want this to be even darker. And some crimson. And got some big decisions to make here. There's going to be some trees right in here. I'm just going to tap. These trees aren't the closest to you. They're still a little bit off in the distance, but they start to obscure a little more of your view. And these ones are going to start to have visible trunks. So we're going to take our liner brush. We're going to bring in some liquid white. A little bit of brown and some black, A little bit of green in there, get a nice little earthy tone going on here. And they have some branches peeking through here and there. Looks like we need a little more liquid in here. A little bit of that white, we're getting to darken that down here. Just kind of drop them in, little indications of some limbs and some trunks. And now we'll pick up a little bit of the white and we'll just add some little highlights on here. Again, we probably should add a little bit of red in this so that we can represent a little bit of this light catching it down here. Sunlight. And just on the side where the light's coming in a little bit here. This one's catching a little light up in here. Alright. Now, using the same brush as we used to smooth out the mountain, it's got some red in it. We're going to add in some crimson and bright red. Yeah. We might need to put a little bit of oil on here to get this to stick well. We'll see. We'll go to try here. More lit on the side that the sun's coming in on. You want to make sure you leave a bit of the darks in there. They really make out the shadows. This one's not getting quite as much light, being a little bit shorter tree. And what we're missing in here now is a little bit of greenery. This isn't exactly supposed to be a snow scene, so we're going to fix that here. Get some nice green and yellow shrubbery growing in here. Turn it this way. Put some brushes in here. This is really going to start changing the scene appearance, because right now it's very snow-like. Get a look around the brush. We're going to add some very shrubbery. We can just kind of make sure you follow the lay of the land here. Got this hill coming across. Looks like we could use something out there, but what should we fill that in with? And we'll just alright, so we need to do some blending back in here. What we're going to do is we're going to take some round brush, pick up some of this red. We're going to have little shrubs back in here. Make sure they follow the lay of the land here. Lay in that trunk again when we get restate those trunks now that we've covered them over. Alright. Now, I just had a thought. I don't remember what it was. It's lost to me already. Yeah, sticks. I'm gonna add some sticks back in here. I'm just gonna draw down. Just gonna scrape in some. Now, pick up a lot of sap green, add a little bit of crimson into it here. Got a big old tree right here. Gonna be that comes out there. Add some nice green shrubbery along here. Follow that. And this is starting to turn some yellow, so kind of a meadowy area with just a couple of trees, a bunch of little wildflowers growing out here. Now we'll use the palette knife. I'll mix up a new trunk for these trees. We're just gonna do that. Get enough on the edge there. Make sure that paint's right on the edge or it won't come off the knife. We are dropping in some trunks here. This little limb kind of come out a little bit early here. tree going on here. Needs a little bit bigger trunk. We're going to add some highlights to that. Bring some of this liquid white over. Just going to touch the side where the light's coming in on. Alright, a little bit back down here, I think. Now, these are getting the touch of autumn as well, so we're going to put down some yellow ochre first. There's a little bit of crimson that was still in the brush. We're just going to push. Now I'm going to pick up some of this cad yellow. I'm going to bring up these so they've got some bit lighter on this side. And we'll do the same on this one. Let's see here. Extra shrubbery growing up down by their bases down here. This time of year, there's a lot of little red things that grow up. Right along the bases of these. Just a little round brush, we're just kind of tapping them in. On the bases of the trees, they kind of grow up and get a few berries in there. So you can see from when you're not nearby. Blending that in so it's not quite so stark and it's standing out there. Alright, and what do you think? Do we need any more trees to this one, or are we just going to call this done? There's still a little bit shadow casting down in here. A little bit of a tree shadow here. A little bit of a shadow from this tree cast out. There. I seem to like that a little better. Along this edge here. Alright. I may have to try using some paint thinner at times and see what the difference in the effect is. I do have some issues getting the paint to stick on top. The viscosity of using the same linseed oil as what's in the the paint itself makes it not really thinner, but just a little runnier. I don't know how much that's impacting the end result here. I'm going to fix this little trunk here. It's kind of got a little bit of an edge hanging out there. Just going to bring that more solid. We'll add little sticks down here and this stuff growing up underneath the trees, just a few. Breaks it up a little bit there. Well, I think we'll go ahead and call this one done. I'm going to get a little, take our little small liner brush here. I'll bring up a little bit of oil. I'm going to thin this down to a little runnier consistency. We'll drop the oil on here. Hope you enjoyed. Hope your world is coming to life too. You made some good decisions on your composition, kind of framing in the nice mountain up there in that top third painting of the painting. Nice pink sky as the sun's setting. Hold this down to keep my oil from running off here. Good enough. I think right over here in the shadow is where we're gonna start the name. Well, didn't really pick up the paint, did it? Got a blob on there. All right. More of this paint. I might just have to tap it on there almost. Trying to avoid the solvent, but I think when it diminishes your results too much, you really need to explore it and see. As we can see, I'm just dragging paint around. I'm not actually even getting this to stick on top at all. Maybe the pressure's too high. I'm going to try a different liner brush. It holds more paint and see if that'll help. Looks for thicker letters, but nope. Not really making a difference here. There's just enough paint on the canvas, it's just pushing that paint around. So just kind of tap it on. I hope you're getting the opportunity to sign your painting here. I think that's very important. Kind of makes ownership of it. Own what you do. Even if it's not turning out quite how you envisioned. And even if it never makes it out into anybody's living room. Trying to match up the coloring here so that the start of the letters don't stand out too much, since I mix this into a darker value. Alright, there's a sloppy mess. There's one thing each of these paintings is good for, it's practice. And there's times I look at them and I go, yep, still need more practice. And that's what we're doing here today. Practice. There we are. Thank you for joining me today. Hopefully you got to paint along, and if you did, I would love to see your results. And if you have ideas of things you want to paint in the future, be sure to leave that in the comments and we'll see what we can do. So remember, don't be hard on yourself, just keep painting. Bye-bye.